wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective, in the data, in the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train.
What is going on, Hive? How is everybody doing this evening? I have to tell you, it feels good to be back. It was a long 48 hours and some change, but tonight we're throwing a parole party or whatever you want to call it, because God only knows the trolls are still probably lurking in the background. So now we have a failsafe, we have X, and it went really well. So I'm sure that's probably disappointing to somebody who may or may not have been reporting, but whatever. We don't care. I don't care, because the difference is that at the end of the day, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing this. I'm doing this because this is who I am on or off stream. So it's really no different for me. Now, do I enjoy getting on here and having the convenience of coming back to the same place and having the Hive? Yes, I do. But worst case scenario, okay, I'll rebuild it and then I'll rebuild it again. So whatever you're trying to do, just stop. Like it's out of control. It's wild. And you know what? There's actually something really peaceful about that mindset. And I would encourage everybody to kind of maybe look inside themselves and see if you have that with what you're doing in life. This is my passion. I enjoy it, and I don't ever want to stop doing it. So we are going to be doing a live Q&A for probably about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. Like I was saying, we are going to do an out of YouTube jail. I have a surprise guest. If you guys probably can't tell, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring them on up.
You're not supposed to tell anybody I'm here. What's going on, man?
Oh man, how are you doing?
I'm good. My phone blew up when you got suspended on YouTube. Like, oh my God, Birdie got suspended. Have you heard? I'm like, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
You figure this shit out.
Well, and a lot of people were saying, oh, it had to do with the Charlie Kirk thing and blah, blah, blah. Well, I actually was able to chat with like a creator support person. It could have also been AI, because I've actually asked that chat before. I'm like, is this AI? And the lady goes, no, I'm a real person. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But like, because I'm getting no help.
Which is exactly what AI would say.
Yeah, I almost said that. I'm like, this is exactly what they would say. Like, but no, they said they were saying, essentially what happens when it's reported and it's either firearms, nudity, they take them very serious. They're quick on their hypothetical algorithm triggers, and they really don't care when it's not a strike. If it's just a warning, I feel like YouTube's like, whatever, it's going to be 48 hours. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Which it was. I got the X account up and running. So now we are cross streaming on both platforms. So if you liked X better, you can go over there. And if you like YouTube better, you can be here. I like the YouTube side of it because I can actually put comments up on the screen. But yeah, DA, since the last time we talked, I still haven't touched a vape.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
Feel good.
Beautiful.
Feel good. I've been running every day, getting ready for this damn half marathon my wife signed me up for.
Nice.
So
nice.
That
takes a lot of willpower to because you get in a habit, and the habits are hard to break.
Yeah, they are. But one of the things that I'm really good at is, and I've been this way my whole life. I don't know who or why I have this ability. It's a blessing and a curse. When I say that I'm going to do something, I do it. And then I also have a very addictive personality. So, for example, I used to just hit the vape up north around the bonfire when I'm drinking a little bit. Now I know the BP gas station by first name, right? So it escalates very quickly. You know what I mean?
We got a new flavor in.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, man, I'm super excited to be able to do this live Q&A with you. I'm going to plug the channel real quick. I was supposed to put that up when you were about to come on up to surprise people, but I jumped the gun a little bit. And if you have not hit subscribe, please do. And on all of these other platforms, you guys know that I keep every stream free, and all that I do ask is that at some point, like the next time you open up Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, if you're not following me on there, just quick type in Birdie and give it a follow. Even if you don't use those apps that often, it still helps push us out into the algorithm. And I want to reiterate what we are doing here. You can call it a movement, you can call it whatever you want, but really it's not necessarily even debating the opinions. It's how we do it, which is important. We have people of all ages with all different opinions that can come in here, and they can finally have a place where, as long as they're not trolling, threatening, or spamming, they can say what they want. And that's a given. I think that is so refreshing. And I know I love seeing comments like that. I was talking with one of my mods earlier today on the phone, and we were talking about that. It's great. It's great that people comment and then they feel compelled enough to leave that comment saying, I found my people. This is so nice because my friends think that I'm nuts. So
right.
I'm happy
yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got great communities. You have a great community. I have a great community. People feel like they're heard, and it's a great experience. Cause again, yeah, it's my wife, by the way, as an aside, my wife, when she goes to hang out with people locally, she's like, oh my God, people just buy the mainstream media narrative, the hook, line, and sinker, and they do not want to hear anything I have to say. But this is your people if you don't buy the mainstream media's narrative.
Exactly. And I will quick give a disclaimer. And that is, if this is your first time to the Hive, or if you're newer and you haven't heard this disclaimer, this is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines. So if you're easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, or if you hear an opinion that's different than yours and your thumb starts twitching to hit that report button, you should probably just scroll by. It's okay. Just resist that for a couple seconds, just while you scroll, and then we're gone. Okay, we're out of your life. It's okay. But if you are the conspiracy theorist of your friend group, you have found your people, especially if you like to look into things and think past the headlines, and you can see through the mainstream BS. So,
I have to say, sorry, you're going to plug my channel. Thank you but I wanted to say something before you do that though, which is that when I heard that you got shut down, I hoped it was, in a way, it was an AI type thing that, again, there's a part of me that thought, okay, they want to make sure that nothing horrible happens in real time, that somebody doesn't stream a homicide or a suicide or something like that. And I get that. They would want to make sure that doesn't happen in real time and everybody saw it and can't unsee it on a live. So that's what I thought at first. But somebody was saying, well, maybe you were reported. And if you're reported, my God, man, if you don't like what you're seeing, just scroll on. Do you need to report people and try to shut them down and censor them with your own personal agenda? For fuck's sake, just move on.
Dude, I'll let you plug your channel and then I'll go into it, because I actually have live footage of me from TikTok when I got canceled and I went over there. I have live footage of the trolls attacking me. It's pretty interesting.
Oh my God. Okay. So just real quick. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to plug myself. I'm the Devil's Advocate. I focus on playing Devil's Advocate with the mainstream media narrative. I'm critical of law enforcement. I'm critical of mainstream media. I'm critical of the judicial system. I like law enforcement. I like lawyers. I go live with attorneys all the time. So I'm not their enemy. However, I'm critical of our system, because we live in a country that's supposed to have the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and yet we incarcerate more people than any place else. So that's kind of my shtick. That's my deal. I focus a lot about breaking down legal documents, talking to attorneys, and focusing on countering the mainstream narrative on my channel, The Devil's Advocates. Here it's at Devil's Advocates 2024 on YouTube. I've also got a website, devilsadvocates.info. I've got Substack. I've got Facebook. I've got X. I'm on a lot of platforms as well.
Yep. I love it. And yeah, man, I had probably one of the craziest crash outs that I've had in months, and I'm not surprised that Troll Talk brought it out of me. And actually, here is the live footage of myself. This is I was able to get the security footage. Here I am.
Oh, you know you're about to get banned again. Love it.
But I made it out, and I'm back. But yeah, man, they were in full. I had the clown horn literally into the mic. Like, I was losing it. So, anyways,
I bet you lost a gasket when you got.
I was just like, today's not the day. It's day 2 of not vaping. My live stream just got shut down, and somebody was like, "You guys are so far fetched. You don't even have brains. What you're doing is spreading misinformation." And I'm like, "Yeah, come at the guy who's made 66 cents." 66 cents on this live stream. Don't go at the people who are making millions. Come at the guy that's just doing this because he likes to. And then I got to deal with your bullshit on top of nicotine withdrawals and a live stream getting shut down because of brain dead NPC zombies over on YouTube. So then I went off on this tangent about how that person would probably believe a lone wolf narrative on 9/11. Okay, that's where I ended up at.
That's probably true. If the narrative, if the mainstream media told them it was one guy that did 9/11, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I totally believe it. They said so on TV."
I know. I think I actually said that his right arm flew one plane, his left arm flew the other plane, and then his armless torso flew the last one, and they'd buy it. Wow,
they would.
Wow,
they,
it's like
they
the
would.
magic bullet. It's the magic arms. Whatever.
Wow.
But anyways, Hive. So what Devil's Advocates and I are going to do now, we are going to we're just going to do kind of rapid fire Q&A. We had a poll. I had a poll out on YouTube. Let me go check the results. I mean, I said Idaho 4 or Charlie Kirk. I believe that it was pretty close. I'll just double check here real quick. And it came out to, there's 260 votes, and both came in at 45. Idaho 4 at 41, Charlie Kirk at 14. So both seem to take the
take the cake a little bit. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is just fire them away, and I'll put them up on screen. And DA, you and I can just kind of.
Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, this is kind of like an informal flying by the seat of your pants. We certainly don't usually go on a Saturday night. So when you dropped it, I had no time to even tell people. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I hope people were a little bit surprised. And plus, what better way to have a parole party without the Twin Peaks
you have to celebrate and prove that you're back. Yeah,
exactly. So if you guys got any questions, obviously we said about Idaho 4, Charlie Kirk. They could be about anything, though. I mean, to be honest, Saturday night.
And if you and while you're waiting for a question, I want to point out, by the way, I'm starting to do a deep dive on my personal feelings of where Charlie Kirk's situation is going to go. There's a book. If you've watched me before, I've got deep dives on books and legal documents. One of the books that I'm starting to review now is called One Nation Under Blackmail. And it's basically how the Charlie Epstein story probably ties in to the Charlie Kirk. Now, the book was written before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but I believe the Charlie Epstein story is going to, the Jeffrey Epstein story is going to tie into the Jeffrey Kirk thing. Wow, I can't even get my names right. Jeffrey Kirk, Charlie Epstein. What the hell just happened there?
Anyways, I don't know. You have a stroke?
Yeah, brain damage. But anyways, point being is that if you want to get into a deeper thing, I've got that book series started, and it's going to be good as well. All right, you have questions?
Dude. Hang on. What
Charlie Epstein, Jeffrey Kirk.
What just happened, dude? It was like you glitched out. Oh, that's funny.
I just did totally, man.
Oh man, dude, I speaking of like asking if you were having a stroke, I was crying laughing. I don't remember which comedian I heard say this. I don't know if I was in person, and but I remember hearing this, and this guy talked about how in an old station wagon, him and his brother and his sister were riding in the back and his parents were in the front. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tell a story. I was pissing my pants laughing. And he talks about how they had a straw and they were spitballing at their parents. So the mom was like, knock it off. So like he said, I did one more. He spitballs at his dad. It goes into his ear. Okay. They're on the highway. And the dad starts freaking out and he starts yelling his wife's name. He's like, Kelly, I'm having a stroke. And he's like,
that's horrible.
Yeah, I don't remember which comedian it was, but that's what I thought of. I thought of you getting a spitball in your ear and having a stroke.
I don't know what happened. My wires got crossed. At least I was consistent with crossing my wires. Like once I crossed those two names, I was consistent. I was spot on.
Yeah,
I was spot on with it.
Yeah. Well, as we're kind of waiting for, here we go. We got a question. Let's see it. Who did that? Where did it go? All right.
My brain was moving faster than my mouth. Somebody said, all right.
Welcome, Jeanette.
Nice.
Welcome to the Hive.
I really get excited on my channel. I get excited when new people come in. I try to give them priority to ask a question because I love when new people join in. They're like, I caught my first live. Yeah. Oh, got it. Oh, my God. No. You know what? I'm going to stop drinking fruit punch. Do not drink fruit punch.
Oh, I thought it was the wings, bro. At this point, it
was wings or fruit punch. Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, your first live too. Welcome, Mel's Bills. Love that. NPC means non-player character. So when you play a video game, you're obviously, first person controlling it. The NPCs are essentially people that are just in the game, kind of walking around like kind of zombies. I'm convinced that those people live amongst us. I don't know what or who is controlling them. I think it's a real thing. And so that's what that means. And I just lost a question that somebody had. Oh, Chad, here we go. Chad says, what do you guys think about this case that they're bringing against the singer David?
Oh yeah. Have you been hearing about that one?
No, let me look it up.
Oh my God. That's a crazy. So yeah, he's a musician that they found a young female's body in his trunk of his car, right?
Yeah,
And he'd written a song about her. Celeste was their name. Had tattoo that was matching a tattoo on her finger. Crazy story. Her body was found in a Tesla, 14 years old. That's what Kimberly said. I thought it was 14, 15. Crazy story. I don't know if it's something that's going to rise to the level of Devil's Advocate's attention, but I think it's a crazy story.
So he wrote a song about murdering her?
Yeah, there's a part of the lyrics that they said where he says, "I can't believe I'm saying this, but I killed her," and he's literally saying it in the song. And there's a song he wrote called Celeste, now, which is her name. I don't know if Celeste is the same song where that part where he actually in another song talks about, "I can't believe I'm admitting I killed her, but I killed her." It's even got some blood and a knife in the image of the video that he's got. It's crazy shit. I was like, oh my God, like, did that guy literally write a song bragging about killing this person? Like, I don't know. Early on in that investigation, that's what I heard and saw.
Here, I got the lyrics here. I think
the one about
I killed her. Yeah. It's in the back of my mind you died. This is what's on an article. In the back of my mind you died, and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear. And I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. Damn.
That's hilarious, because I saw that clip, but they didn't have the part about in the back of my mind. They just had the clip where it says, "I can't believe I'm saying this. I killed you and I didn't even regret it." That's the part they fucking mainstream narrative, and they're shaping shit. They left out the part where he says "in the back of my mind," but still, it's still creepy. But funny that they left the "in the back of my mind" part and just went straight to the "I can't believe I said it. I killed you and I didn't regret it."
Well, I mean, dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, some of those like rap dudes, they go pretty high profile. Like, do you remember like YNW Melly and who was the other? Was it Young Thug? Like, they get a lot of press for that.
Yeah.
Especially like, what is the court ruling on lyrics? Are those admissible in court?
It's a good question. I mean, I think if you can, I mean, again, the musician is going to say they're just being creative with stuff and like that. So you'd have to paint the narrative, and sure, it would be admissible in court to say, look, this guy is accused of doing it. He did this, and this. He dated her. He has a song called Celeste, and he wrote in this. Yes, that would be all admissible in court if they can tell the narrative and convince a jury that that's what he was talking about. But of course, he'll just say, oh, it was just a fictional story. It's just a song. It doesn't mean anything. But they can sure tell that story.
Yeah, I mean, for God's sakes. That's the stupidest lyric you could probably come up with. Like, I mean, if it is admissible, I have no idea. I was going to say exception to hearsay, motive, plan, or scheme. Yep, that's right, Latitude. I feel like that's probably spot on. Well, okay. I saw Fiji had asked a question. Let me scroll up and get it. So Fiji said, do you think that could be Travis Decker? And do you think possible connections to Brett Kopaka and Brian Koberger? Here's my thing about Decker. What a time to say you found his remains. What a time, right? I mean, that was a blip on the radar. And if you didn't really stay up to date on Travis Decker, which, full transparency, even for myself, if George Webb wouldn't have brought Travis Decker up, I don't know if I would have really gone down that rabbit hole. Yeah. Right. But they're saying, so the remains are not confirmed. I thought this was really interesting. They said the remains are not confirmed, but we are almost certain it's him because they found his Ranger shorts, chewing tobacco, and the shirt that he was last seen wearing. See,
and a bracelet.
And a bracelet. Yeah. Now I have a little bit of a bone to pick with that, right? And I go back to Brian Laundrie, and I go back to is it like, how decomposed were these remains? When did he actually die? And how long has the body been decomposing? Who found these bones? When did they find them? Because you should always be on alert with a high profile case if they say, we're fairly certain it's him. We haven't tested, but we found everything else. And they say very obvious things that most people will be like, well, dude, they found his bracelet. They found his dip. Right? Like
to add to that, I just watched the Chelan County sheriff say they found his feet. They found 2 feet, a femur bone, and some vertebrae. as well as the clothing that they described that we just talked about. So there's not even a full corpse there. There's some feet, a femur bone, and a vertebrae.
I'll go down a rabbit hole in general, and I went deep on the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie stuff, right? And I've always said the biggest red flag that people do not talk enough about with Brian Laundrie is that they say he committed suicide, but it was on his non-dominant hand side of his head. When you look statistically, very few people commit suicide with their non-dominant hand. They're very few. And the fact that his parents found them right away, if Brian Laundrie had just staged a scene with his ex-fiance and killed her and went on the run, I have this entire theory about how Gabby's mom was never blocked, and that the messages to Brian's mom went green because Brian's parents were driving to meet him halfway and they were in a place without service, or they were on an airplane. Hence why Brian was driving to meet them. That's how the van got home, is they switched vehicles. And Brian was never in their parents' house when the cops knocked on the door. They just said, oh, it's lawyer talk. But when it comes to finding the remains, I said, are there any solo male hikers that have gone missing in this window? Because I don't think that it's unrealistic. If I was on the run and you were on the run, is it the only thing that had 100% DNA match was his tooth? I'm sorry. If I was on the run for my life and wired like that, I could pull my tooth out. I could do it. And if I had a gun, and we know we do, he did, he shows it all over the place. Is it unrealistic to think that he took advantage while he was hiding out in the campground that he knew, killed a guy, waited as he escaped, and he had told his parents where to look when the time was right? Because then everybody goes, well, there was a wellness check. And then everybody goes, well, Brian's gone. Where the hell is he? He was never there, bro. He was never at the house. So
yeah, and I know you were big into the Gabby Petito case, and I think, right, you covered it pretty good for a while. And I had theories about it too. Like, I had originally thought that the father could have actually shot his own son because he was like, I can't do it, Dad, do it for me, kind of thing, right? And that was another. And of course, it was the parents that found the body. But yeah, all of those things are questions that I had at the time. But
well, and there's even some rumors about how his Instagram live went on for a second or two. And he was on water. Who knows? Yeah. But again, there is a lot of stuff that, do you realize too that they could not retest those remains? The family nobody was allowed to retest the remains. That was part of some sort of deal that was worked out with the FBI and the coroner's office and the court system. So they tested it once. That's it.
We need to, you know what? We need Othram Labs in here right now. Othram Labs can solve that case. Like, they can solve every case in America. Othram Labs is going to solve the Decker case. It's going to solve the.
Wait, hang on. Actually, right above your head, here comes Middleman. She's going to make a guest appearance. Here she is. Hey.
Yeah. Thanks for Othram for showing up on my stream.
Yeah. Thanks for completely screwing everybody over with our DNA. But all right. Anyways, let's see what other questions we got. Oh, I guess we could, as I kind of went off on a tangent, the second part of Fiji's thing with Decker and Kopaka and
yeah.
Dude, I think it's extremely weird that not one person has found a connection with Brian Kohberger to anybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, even the sus people.
Here's what I think, by the way, going back, I mean, I know George Webb had the only time I saw George Webb actually do a big talk about Idaho 4, he was talking about Decker was the cleaner who went in there and killed everybody in the house. And I was like, where the hell did George Webb get the idea that Decker was the guy? But here's what I do have a question about the Decker situation. It sounds like they found him within a couple of miles of where he allegedly killed his children. So you're telling me this massive manhunt that has been searching everywhere, he literally could have just gone a couple miles away and then killed himself. And that now, months later, after a manhunt that's gone all over multiple states and looking in Canada and down as far as Mexico, and you're like, oh, by the way, he's always been just a couple miles away. Like, it just, like, And they're like, well, we just happened to catch it with a drone flying by and I saw his shirt and there we are. I'm like, how did you not already fly by a drone on that area in the early stages of this investigation? It just doesn't, there's parts of it that at first I thought it was a cut and dry story, but I'm like, why is he ultimately found right next to the scene the whole time when we've been looking for him for months?
Almost like there's a pattern. Like we just talked about Brian Laundrie. How is it that all of these resources for this whole time, they can't find him until like, oh, the timing's right. Right. I have really tried to dial into pattern recognition. And I think that's a good segue into Wade Bird 77's or Christine's question about Candace. And Candace says that she did not see blood from the back, which would indicate an exit wound. What do you deduce from that? Is the bullet still lodged within? Where's the bullet? Is there more than one? Did you see that clip of Candace talking about how she actually knew the guy who took down the camera and the SD card out? And
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she called him on the phone and said, don't give it to the feds. Give it to me. Like, we don't trust the feds.
Right. Good for her. Yeah.
When she said that, there was like 130,000 people on her YouTube stream. And people were saying that it got up to over 300,000 the night before.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, somebody with that big of the platform has the balls to say, we do not trust the feds. Give it to me.
That was amazing. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Good for her.
And what she had said was that he said, no, I'm not going to send it to you. Said out of respect for Charlie's wife. And
true, they would slap her with obstruction of justice if she got him to not take it to the feds, right? Probably, but
make a copy. Have a couple of them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She said that he FaceTimed her and was showing it via like the front camera on his phone, on his laptop or something. And she kept having it replay it. And she goes, here's what I don't understand. Why not release it? There's no blood. There's no gore. And I thought to myself, that's interesting because social media let us all see that. Their algorithms didn't give a shit. They wanted that to get 10. They could have taken that down immediately. Dude, I'm getting kicked off YouTube for posting a blob on a roof. Or if you say, you can't even say murder on TikTok. Think about that.
Yeah.
They
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's man, we just live in a crazy world with narrative control and it's just, oh man, this is why we talk about the things we do, because somebody has to point out the inconsistencies, because it seems like most of America doesn't see it. They don't see what's happening.
And thank you, Carissa, for tuning in from the X side. Love it. Now, what I will say about is the bullet lodged inside? I firmly believe that the 30-06 is a bunch of dog shit. I don't buy it. You could look up the exit wound on a deer, and you could probably imagine what that would do to a man's neck. Right? Now, I don't think a 30-06 round's ever getting lodged in someone's neck. Unless it, like, even, I don't know. I don't see how that could happen. That maybe one time it hits the spine and it gets lodged. Who knows? I think it's a smaller round. And if it did get lodged in there, then it's lodged in there. But you see little projectiles and all this stuff over a lot of the footage that's slowed down frame by frame.
Right.
But here's what's trippy about the frame by frame stuff. I don't know if you know this. And I'm not a math geek, but there's people that are like ballistics experts that talk about the frame rate. What is the frame rate of that video? If it's 30 FPS, it wouldn't catch a bullet like most times.
That's what I'm glad you said that, because I was like, I'm not a forensics expert, but people keep showing these videos with a freeze frame of there's the bullet. And I'm like, I'm not even sure that a bullet can get caught on that camera. It would have to have been literally the most lucky frame that you caught right there. And so I'm just like, did they just get lucky and catch it? Or is it something other than a bullet? That is one of the questions I still have.
Guys, I hate to say it, but I don't believe that shot came further than like 30 feet away from him, like 30, 45 feet. I think that shot happened extremely close to him. I
haven't dived into probably as much as you have, but the best explanation I had indicates to me that and again, correct. I almost feel bad because I know some of you have watched a lot more hours of this, but I feel like the shot was taken from above and behind him, and so I think it was from above and behind him. But that's my guess based on what I've seen and the stuff that I've watched, and it's not based on that one frame that shows the bullet coming in from that angle, because that is the angle pretty much. There's the muzzle flash that's caught in the building behind him, and all these different things, and so. I'm thinking the shot was taken from a different angle, but again, that leads to well, then what do you do with the straight on shot and the shooter and the rifle? How far is that conspiracy going if the shot came from a different angle? I don't know.
Well, that's what we were trying to find out this morning. Excuse me. Is when you go and you look at that wall that you see the flash come from, it's like plated glass, right? You can go on Google Maps, you can go inside, like there's no pop-ups, nothing like that. So it's like, well, where did that reflect from in general? Where is that? That the coincidence of the flash, the coincidence of the guy with the palm gun, there's a lot of like,
you know what, dude?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You know what? I can't remember what software it is, but there's OSINT, which is open source intelligent tools that you can put in. Here's the GPS locations of that shooting. Here's this building. Here's what time it happened. Tell me where the sun was and the positioning was, and where would this shot have come from in order to make that flash on that building. There's tools that do that. I don't have those tools. I don't know how to really dial that in, but there are tools where you can give it all those parameters and say, here's the time of day, here's the location on Earth, here's where the sun would have been, or actually it'll tell you where the sun was, and then say, where would that reflection have come from? So that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, no, there is, and there's a couple other there's a couple other whatever programs that do exactly that. Like they could detect where a gunshot came from. Now last night on stream we talked about this, which is technology for syncing up a shot. It's called Smash, and actually it's like in the movie Shooter, you put a trigger guard on the bottom of a gun and you have a handheld device, and I did a little bit of research after the stream. You can sync up multiple devices at different angles, and they'll all use AI to lock onto a target, and none of them will take the shot until they all have a 95% hit rate.
Birdie, I got a conspiracy. You're trying to get my stream shut down. You're showing guns on the screen. You just got shut down for this. Now you're pulling it with my stream. What are you trying to get me shut off of YouTube?
You could show it.
Come on, man.
Well, maybe not. That would suck. But
because we don't know exactly what happened to you, but hopefully you don't get shut off on it.
It is what it is at this point, right?
Right.
I think it's ridiculous. Right. And but nonetheless, I don't know if this gentleman came up with it might be Smash because it's made by the Israelis. I have to say, I heard a rant today calling out everybody that thought this could be Israel behind it and the Jews behind it. Okay. Now, very, very, he's not everybody's probably favorite flavor, but he like is very well spoken. He says facts and he's a dick. Like Nick Fuentes. Okay. He's just a very fiery young dude. He made a really good point because everyone's like, oh, Fuentes got the call. He's shilling for Israel, right? He's shilling. And he calls them all out. And he's like, well, let me actually explain this. He's like, do you guys understand that if Israel was behind this assassination and they came and they killed an American citizen on U.S. soil, who's that prominent of a figure, he's like, that's an effing act of war. If that is them and we know about it, well, Trump and Vance are covering it up. They're complicit. So we need to go after them first. We can't just go right. And I'm like, damn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to say you are walking a very fine line, my son. So the problem is you're right. Like here's the thing. It has been rumored for forever that the United States intelligence and Israeli intelligence are lockstep together. So again, nuances, as you were saying, if a foreign government assassinated somebody on our soil, we would call that an act of war. However, if we're in bed with that government and, and so like, where do you draw that line? For the population, that would be an act of war. For a government, if you're in bed with the intelligence agencies that do it, or, so man, that is some shit to be careful with, but it's something that we need to talk about.
I'll blow your guys' mind here. I don't know how many people know this. Do you guys know the only country that has a Wikipedia page bragging about their assassinations is Israel? They keep track of it. It's well known that they have confirmed assassinations that have been reported and conducted by the state of Israel. Okay. There are people going back to the 50s. They've openly talked about how they will do that as a country and whatever it is. I'm not saying that this is that. I just think it's very odd that there's an entire Wikipedia page dedicated back to the 50s of everybody that the Israeli government's taken out.
Right. And to be fair, as much as like, you know, when we were on the live the other night and you flew up, you threw a Israeli flag on the thing, I ducked out of the camera. I'm like, no, but to be fair, yeah, I mean, I would bet money on some kind of Israeli US connection in this shooting, but that's me. But.
Well, I agree. and dude, again, I don't know. There's a lot of rumblings about it. I see both sides. It's a huge thing to point a finger at a country doing that. Of course. Now, it's also, I feel like, to kind of riff off of what that dude finished his rant with, he's like, I'm just saying that's such a big allegation to make. He's like, now on other stuff, he's like, you probably have a 95 success rate on if it was them. I'm just like, but dude, I mean, it's weird because how many people, I think I brought up the example the day that after this happened in the morning, I had a like a business call from my other company, and they said, who do you guys think it was? And I go, I don't know. I'm kind of hearing some stuff about Israel. And they looked at me. They looked at me like I had a giant nutsack hanging from my nose. They're like, no, why would they do that? They couldn't even wrap they go, right. It was Russia. If anybody, It was China. It was this. I'm like, it was, one guy said North Korea. And I'm like, see,
are you kidding? Like,
there's such a disconnect, but also think of how beneficial that is to the powers that be. Right? How many people, I feel like almost everybody that has a good sense of like the geopolitical landscape has a rather large podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Guys like Dave Smith, PBD, Charlie Kirk did. What do you think? I mean, what do you think? Do you think that there is a foreign, in general, do you think this is just, because if it's not the lone wolf narrative, it's probably powers that be.
I think it's powers that be. I think, and again, I want to be careful. This is just thought. I'm just think tanking, and I haven't, but if you were to ask me what's your gut tell you, it tells me it's not some crazy young college kid that did it, that this was an actual political assassination that had heads of state. I won't even say what states, but heads of state involved in it. I think this was a political assassination. And so that's my gut. That's what my gut tells me. So again, the narrative will be the lone wolf, kid that went off the rails. Of course, by the way, it always ends up being some 20-something-year-old, because it's always the type that you can shape. Now there's rumors coming out that he may have actually been a bright student with the 4.0 GPA and shit like that. If that's true, that's the classic narrative. Super bright person, like a Koberger, who's a PhD candidate, super bright person, high academics, and yet just goes off the rails and commits an atrocious act. Why is it always the narrative? Why is it always super bright people? Now, again, I don't know if I'm going too far with that, because I don't know if it's been proven this kid was excelling in school, but it sounds like he was really bright, and that's always the case. It's a bright 20-something-year-old that does the shooting, and it's often this telltale sign of something bigger going on. And you get into those crazy conspiracy things like MK Ultra and all the different things that the government does, and allegedly, I don't want to go off the rails because I'm not a conspiracy 100% guy, but I know about the stuff,
Well, I know it's not Monday night, but you might as well take the gloves off and let it fly. I saw somebody, I'm going to play this, and then I will move on from Israel. Okay. So I promise I'm going to play this because somebody quoted a tweet of BB making his statement about Charlie Kirk, and somebody retweeted it and quoted it and goes, holy shit, he actually killed them, or he actually killed him. And it was this speech, and I'll do this here. And if you haven't listened to this, I mean, somebody literally said, after listening to this, I'm convinced they did it.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
Now,
New York Post made that?
yeah,
Are they saying it's AI generated?
nope. It's got
What the
42,000 views. That's weird, right? Because he goes, and sadly, that won't happen. It's like, no, it's confirmed you offered him $150 million and he said no, and he didn't come.
So wait, so I just have to ask you, like, when the first of all, I've said this before. So, oh my gosh, there's too much. There's too much.
Right.
I said this before. You can make anybody say anything with AI. The first thing I saw was the flag didn't even look real behind him. It looked like it was AI generated. The whole backdrop behind him looked AI generated, in my opinion. So when I was watching it, I was waiting for you to tell me this is AI generated. It's fake. It's not real. And then it says New York Post, and I'm like, did they fucking post that as a real thing? And is it real? Because now I don't know. Oh my God. So we live in a world where you can, how do we know? I mean, that, and if he said that, fuck me, like that. I'm sorry to drop an F-bomb, but if he said that, oh my God. But I don't even know where to go with that, because I don't know. I'm just, I don't even
like, dude, if you read the top comments, okay, you got, he's so guilty, he did it. I didn't believe it until I heard him deny it like that. Quote, this is insane, from someone slaughtering women and children. This is the third time they've denied it. Let that sink in. I'm glad Americans are finally waking up to Israel. The way he empathetically denies this is what makes it weird. And again, it's kind of like one of those things where you just kind of feel it when you're watching it.
Yeah.
You just kind of feel it.
Your gut tells you, like, oh shit, something's happening here.
Now, so anyways, I wanted to get up here and do a Q&A. We kind of went off on a tangent, but let's see what else. We had some questions come in. And you guys got any other ones? Ask whatever you want. Why
that's crazy. I got to go back and watch that thing like 12 times, because that's crazy what you just showed. I haven't seen that.
Right. Why does that country have all of Senate and Congress visit in August? Why do they get so many donations from lobbyists for that country? Have you ever seen Tucker Carlson call out Ted Cruz for taking money from AIPAC?
No, but that's awesome.
It's so awkward. It's so awkward. Tucker goes, well, I've personally never taken any Israeli-backed money. Have you? It's so fucking awkward, dude. Like, you know when you can feel awkwardness through the screen?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. And he's like, well, he's like, that's not true. It's not true. And he goes, Tucker's like, being sarcastic, like, it's not, and I don't even know how I feel necessarily about all these people that do leave their platforms after being like, it's hard for me to picture that you could be, what was he, 30, 5-year guy, 30-year dude at Fox or something. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know. But in general, there's obviously a lot of big talking heads that are doing that. And maybe they were doing it for the paycheck to build up a following. And then they could say, F it, I'll burn the whole place down. I have no idea.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Wow.
all right, let's see. We got. Did we all hear about the dude at the stadium?
Which dude at the stadium?
Yeah, clarify that, Brian. We can come back to it. Da. Geez, some of these comments. Fizzy Cake says, "Why does this sound like a mob boss speaking about offing a Fed?"
Huh. Well, I'm reading. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Guys, I mean, it's weird. It's all weird. See, this is where, God, I want to. Okay, mainstream also bled out the podcast arena. That's a good point. Kind of change, not to jump all over, but you had mentioned the AI video. Ride Down the Rabbit Hole says, well, we haven't seen the knife sheath in the Idaho 4 case. Are we waiting on AI to generate one?
Yeah, and I've heard people go, why the hell have we not seen the knife sheath? To this day, we haven't seen the knife sheath. It's anyways, shit show. The whole thing is a shit show.
Birdie, a dude faked being a cop. He was in the stadium for Tom.
Dude,
I don't know what that means.
Huh. And someone pointed out George Zinn was Israeli. Was that did you see that comment too? Yeah.
Yeah.
George Zinn is also a major part of this. By the way, the George Zinn thing drives me nuts. So George, this is just a side comment. George Zinn shouts out, I'm the shooter. I'm the guy. Shoot me, draws. And when they ask him why he did that, he said, well, I wanted to give the shooter time to get away. And then they say, we found no collusion between him and the shooter. Well, yeah, he just literally told you, I was trying to give this guy time to get away. Now, granted, there's a scenario where it can be like, they don't know each other. He just was like, hey, whoever just did that, I want to help them and randomly take one for the team, including planting child pornography on my phone and whatever. But the point being is like George Zinn saying, I did this so that the guy would have time to get away. And then they're like, but we found there's no collusion between the two. I'm like, that by definition is collusion between the two. Whether the shooter knew it or not, I don't know. But
well, dude, so this is where I'm going to wear my tinfoil hat. This is, the other thing too, the reason why I wanted the Hive to kind of be the way it is, where you can kind of just say anything and people can have an opinion on it and just understand that this is the freedom to think out loud. Let's all not forget how big that Q movement was before it was completely either exposed, demonized, whatever they started calling it, QAnon. A lot of people on my X feed are talking about they're saving Israel for last. If you ever followed the Q drops, and it is very interesting because when in your life, I certainly know in my life, I have never seen this much about Israel. If anything, it was like, anti-Semitic. It was you couldn't do a damn thing. They made Kyrie Irving make a huge donation to the Holocaust Museum for talking bad about it. Like, that's how crazy it gets if you say something.
By the way, I want to, as an aside, before I forget it, on Zinn, I want to have people track. I would love, I don't know that I have time because I got so much going on in so many cases. I want somebody to track what happens to George Zinn. Because as someone pointed out, what he just did should be considered obstruction of justice. How quickly will the charges for George Zinn be dismissed and he'll be back in some other major event? Because I want to know what happens to George Zinn. No, let's not forget about that guy. He just admitted that he was the shooter, that he was trying to give time for the shooter to go away, and everybody's going to stop looking into George Zinn. Will he be back on the streets in a couple of weeks or months, and we'll just forget that he didn't get prosecuted to the fullest extent? Because nobody's going to really follow up on that story. I wish somebody would follow up on that story and tell me what happens to George Zinn. Follow that through to his conviction.
Yeah,
that's a good
point.
Gets convicted.
That's a really good point. My question about George Zinn is why would you do that unless you were told to do it? Right?
Yeah.
Like on the simplest level. the odds of, okay, let's say he's there alone. Not that big of a stretch. Who knows? If he's there alone, the odds of a shot happening, crazy odds. The odds that you then make a split-second decision to start yelling, "You're the shooter. Shoot me. I did it."
Yeah.
What? And then to get
What
arrested,
are the odds on that?
to get arrested, to then get re-released, to then get rearrested.
And didn't he phone in something on like the Boston Marathon? Was involved in the Boston Marathon thing too as well?
And Sherlock Holmes, I can't confirm this. Sherlock Holmes said that George Zinn was the one that found the hijacker's passport on the street.
Oh God, tell me no. No,
he couldn't confirm it. I don't know.
Okay.
Again, that's speculation. But people have said he was at 9/11 and he was at the Boston Marathon bombing. Now he's at the Charlie Kirk shooting.
Yeah, if he's even, I mean, I wasn't sure if he was at the Boston Marathon or if he called in a tip on it, whatever the case may be. That guy's name shows up in too many weird major things. And again, that's why from those things, why isn't he still in jail? But so how quickly is he going to get out? And people are like, oh, well, he's got child pornography charges against him now. He's going to be gone for a long time. Well, let's see. Does it quietly in court get pled out and they drop those charges and next thing you know, he'll be out in a very short period of time because I just want to ask, could he be an asset that purposely was there to misdirect everybody? Hey, look over here while the shooter gets away. And it might not even be the guy on the rooftop. It might be a different shooter.
Right. I think Mike makes a good point. If he's not mentally ill, he's a Fed. If he is mentally ill, the odds of him, like, that's just weird that he's there, though. It actually doesn't matter if he's mentally ill or not, I guess.
Yeah, what are the odds?
What are the odds that he's at those places?
Right. And unfortunately, a lot of America will just say, well, that's just a really weird coincidence. And that's as far as they go. Well, that's just a weird coincidence. Nothing to see here. You know, you could even make the narrative, oh, well, he's a political kind of guy. He's always going to be at political rallies. And that's why he was there. But like, he just seems to be in the right place at the right time for a lot of weird shit. And why is he still on the street? I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going to happen.
Twine and Toucan says Zinn Shipping broke their lease at World Trade Center 1 week before 9/11. Hauled ass. Zinn. Got it. I'll tell you what, Lucky Larry, George Zinn, they all just seem to time up when to pull out for to make away like bandits and come out scot-free on 9/11.
Yeah, or like the who was the billionaire that put dual policies on the Twin Towers and they both went down and he made a fucking fortune.
Wasn't that Larry? Larry Silverstein or something like that?
Silverstein. That's it. Silverstein, right. He put out policies on both towers and paid off on both towers. What a lucky coincidence for that guy. Oh, by the way, and not to sidetrack, but the World Trade Centers had so much asbestos in it that the overhaul on that project was going to be enormous. And so he puts policies on them in case something happens in an accident and then both towers fall down. And he's just like, bank. It's good to be in the right place at the right time.
I had no idea that I put billions of dollars on this insurance policy. I had no idea.
Once, but twice. Right.
I'm sure that these buildings were rigged with explosives for months on end to fall at free fall speed when no steel building has ever collapsed from a plane crash in history. We had 3 happen on that same day, and one of them wasn't even hit by a plane, and it still fell at free fall. Oh,
and Silverstein, is that sounds like a certain type of nationality.
I'm sure it's not. No,
I'm out. No.
It just changed the spelling after World War II type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but dude, speaking of that type of stuff, a lot of people have speculated about the Vegas shooting as well with somebody taking it. I think did they do put options on a security system that then
there was crazy shit with the security system. I remember that now that you're mentioning. It's been a long time, but that Vegas shooting was horseshit as well. But go ahead.
No, go.
I know people who watch us are going to be, do you ever think anything happens in America that's not a crazy conspiracy theory? But
no,
dude, follow the money.
But that's why you and I make a great team.
Yeah.
You know, I have kind of enough leash to go and hang myself. And you're kind of like, no, Birdie, you're getting too far out there. Come back, bro.
I got to bring it down, dude.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Like, because in my head, I'm the type of guy if I'm on a plane that's not that crowded and I'm getting off the plane, I'll look at the pilot and be like, it's flat, right? You know, like I do that. You know, even though I'm traveling by myself, like I get why? Because I enjoy it and I think it's fun. And usually they smile.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get really annoyed, but whatever. I have to do it. There's something inside of me that I have to do that. And another thing about flying, DA, do you know how people always talk about how they get sick when they travel?
Yeah.
This blew my mind, and I can't believe that I didn't know this until a couple of years ago. This is all alleged, but apparently radiation that you get when you go through the X-ray scanners has the same symptoms as flu and colds.
Oh,
now,
wow.
So every single person stands with their hands up and they get radiation. They get an X-ray.
Yeah.
And when you go get an X-ray at the doctor's office, it's a very localized X-ray.
Yeah.
And what do you wear so that the X-rays can't go into other parts of your body? You wear a lead vest.
A lead vest, yeah.
Well, you don't have that on there. And they make you take off any thick clothing. You can't even wear a hoodie. If you have a t-shirt on underneath, they make sure that they're getting that shit zapped into you. And then how they make you take your laptops out. This one, I haven't researched, but somebody was telling me this because I actually sat next to this super cool dude on the plane and we were talking about this shit for 3.5 hours about how, well, everything in America is a conspiracy pretty much. So
right.
he had said they make you take your laptops and anything like a tablet or larger out of your backpack and put it in a separate bin because these newer big ass machines that they all go through and they say they're scanning to see it. No, it's like, dude, they're copying your data.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's wow. You know, very, very, very possible. Data extraction, we're getting really good at data extraction, and it doesn't take long to pull a hard drive's content. It takes a lot less than you think. So would it surprise me? Would it surprise me that they're finding ways to data dump people's hard drives and stuff like that as it goes to the machine? We're close to that. If not, already have that technology probably.
I think we're absolutely already there. I think that there's technology that would be hard for people who haven't, like, I think there's technology. Here's the analogy I'll make. Okay. Radiation, right? Like a ball of radiation. Let's say that dropped somewhere in like the 1800s and people were going around it and they were touching it. And then everybody that touched it died.
Right.
They would think that's like a witch. They're starting to burn people at the stake and throw them in, they're tarred and feathered.
It's cursed. People. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or it's like, imagine you go from a Model T to a Lamborghini immediately. I think that's like, I think our technology is at like a Model T level, and there's shit that's like, I mean, obviously we know what these things can do, and they're anti-gravity propulsion systems. And this is being talked about at a Senate and Congress level. There's whistleblowers talking about this.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy shit.
I mean, what's your whole thing on like kind of the D-class of all that stuff?
I think declassifying documents, we wait until people stop giving a shit anymore. And we always declassify stuff that's so far in the past that people get told, oh, well, that was then, this is now. That's not how we do things anymore. So they're careful with declassifying information to make sure that they can do the whole narrative of, well, that's what happened in the past. It's not that way now. And of course, it's the same story, every single thing. I don't know where you're going with it, but that's where I think about declassified stuff is.
It's just interesting how like whistleblowing has gained a lot of popularity in the last 7, 8 years, probably actually maybe since COVID, like halfway through COVID. I feel like whistleblowers, like that became a very common term that you would hear through alt sources in the media. And what I find interesting about it is I've never understood, like, when did the change happen for technology in a human's brain to not share this with the rest of the world to make it better and to just hoard it for yourself? Is it when corporations got big and then they umbrellaed you with this is technically the company's property, we don't want to share that, we're a private industry? Or do you think it was on a human level?
I don't know. Good questions. Those are great questions. I mean,
like, philosophically, what do you think was the turning point of America with that type of shit? World War I?
Yeah, probably. I mean, when the intelligence agencies rose, that changed everything in America when we started, and we didn't start really formalizing the intelligence agencies as big, I think, right until World War II. Or, I mean, it was always intelligence, but I mean, that's when we started really taking off. I don't know. I mean, it's a big philosophical question you're answering, and I don't know that I can tackle that. But
Have
in
you
the
ever
Dulles Brothers, right?
see now and I now this is now turned into a Q&A where I'm going to ask you questions, DA. And
Oh, fuck.
for the next 5 minutes, you can't hold back. I can ask you anything. Deal?
Wow. I should never make that deal. Let's go. Let's see what you got.
Okay. All right. All right. Now I forgot the question. Hang on. Let me think.
Fantastic.
It was about, okay. What's your theory on there's no such thing as new inventions, new technology, because everything existed at one point in the old world?
Oh, oh my God, dude, that's such a big thing. So here's what I think. I think personally, our planet has undergone cycles where this is crazy, right? Every 10 to 13,000 years, our planet undergoes a cataclysm, essentially wipes out the entire planet, and life starts over again. I think that cycle has repeated multiple times. We've only been recording history for a very short period of time. So I think there's evidence to suggest that life and civilizations have existed on this planet over long, long periods of time and come and gone, places like Atlantis and stuff like that. So yes, I think, again, I'm going long-winded. Modern thinking is, of course, the more advanced in technology you get, the more you're moving towards the future, and then the more archaic you get going back to the past. But was there a time in the past where we had an advanced civilization where they knew things perhaps even beyond what we know now? I think that's very possible.
And okay, so let me ask you this then: when it comes to time being a man-made construct, right? Now you can talk about the lunar cycle. I'm a firm believer 13 months, 28 days is really how our calendar should look.
Yeah.
Based on my research.
Yeah.
I don't think that
That's a huge topic.
Do you actually think it's 2025?
What do you mean 2025?
Do you think that they've taken time out of the calendar for centuries? Like, have you ever heard about like the Roman Catholic Church? They just would take days out of the year every now and again.
Right. Well, so you're getting into a huge ball of wax, because again, being a religious aficionado, I've studied calendars and the biblical calendar, the lunar calendar versus a solar calendar versus a lunar solar calendar, and how you have to slip days and add leap days and leap years and stuff like that to keep, because we're not on a perfect cycle. But yeah, I think there's a strong argument where you're going, and I don't know where you're going with it, that ancient calendars are based on a lunar calendar. It was on the 28 and something a half day cycle of the moon, and that weeks were based on that and those phases. And at some point we changed the calendar to this lunar solar calendar, and because the calendar slips, because it's not a perfect numerical thing, every 4 years or so we have to add in an extra day to keep the so that the seasons don't change and creep, and you have winter now in May or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, I'm big into those topics. Where you're going with it, I don't know, but I think yeah.
And when I said time is a man-made construct, don't get me wrong. Time, like, there is a measurable thing, but what I guess I was referring to more so like the calendar and the years. And have you ever heard the theory that on all these buildings where it says EST, they actually like added a 1 to a lot of these buildings, and it would be like,
oh no, I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah,
no.
So that's a big like old world theory where
yeah,
they would add a 1, or they would change dates on buildings to match whatever timeline. And I guess where I'm going with that entire thing is, how would we ever know? Right? That's what I think I kind of like gets my rocks off when I'm talking deep theories, is I like to talk with somebody that can just acknowledge and accept this is just conversing. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's not about arguing with it. It's just like, how would we know? We are only taught what we're allowed to be. We're only taught what we're allowed to learn.
Right.
And I don't know. So that's my thought is, how would we know? Like, if you were born on an island with, 30,000 other people, and you were told that it was year 1 when you were born, and you lived there your whole life, how would you know?
Yeah. No, again, the calendar issue is huge. And again, unfortunately, I can't detach myself from my decades of religious stuff, because I get into the whole ancient Sumerian texts and the idea that people lived for thousands of years in the past. Was that the case, or was time reckoned differently? And so there's mathematical issues that come on. I can't get past the pyramids and whether the pyramid was actually created to mark a time in when the last cataclysm happened on Earth, and it was giant timepiece to tell us, by the way, look for next cataclysm, because this is when it happened, and this is the way they're going to keep track of when the next one's coming. That's one of the big theories that I believe, that the time that was a big timepiece.
I have goosebumps, dude, because I remember when that was like breaking news, like there is megalithic structures underneath. Dude, so are you getting at, they look kind of almost like what the Washington Monument would look like, and essentially these resets, they've built up and they built up and they built up, and that's really kind of the only part of the pyramid that's left, and it's like the last reset?
Not so much that. That's not where, but that is a good one, and it's one that I would definitely. I mean, this is only for your show, because shit, I don't talk about this when I'm not on your show. But yeah,
I'll just call it
a good one.
You can FaceTime. We'll go deep on it. Yeah,
I think there's a whole civilization under Antarctica. I think that humans used to live there. What I'm saying is, I think is that.
Hang on. Sorry, you can't say that you're being reserved and then just casually drop that you thought there was an entire civilization under Antarctica and humans used to live there. Then just move on from that after maybe debating and speculating on Brian Koberger and Brent Kopacka. Wait, hold on. What are we doing?
It is a weird transition. And again, it's only on your show, because I can't do that on my show, it seems like. But I mean, I've studied this stuff for a long time. And again, one of the craziest things that I saw that made sense to me is if our planet goes through cycles of every 10 to 13,000 years, and oh my God, it's so big. I wish I could talk about this for forever. If we get wiped out every 10 to 13,000 years, it's possible that an ancient civilization marked the time in which this happened, using the pyramids and the Sphinx and pointing towards the constellations in the sky, so that anyone for centuries could, without having to know the language, could figure out the mathematics and go, oh, why are they pointing to a time about 10 to 13,000 years ago? What happened at that time? Maybe that was the last cataclysm. And they're like, don't ever forget this date. This is a time clock, so you can remember when it's going to happen again, and shit's going to wipe out the planet and start over. And I know it sounds nuts, but there's more to that kind of shit than you think. And it's crazy.
But see, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Is it nuts in your brain though? Is it? Because
it's not. It's not nuts in my brain, because I can follow the logic and I follow the researchers, and it's nuts to the average American, because the average American has been brainwashed with the books that you're taught in school. You're told the history is this, and so you're not allowed to think outside the box and go, what if everything they told us was a lie? What if, by the way, to go grand conspiracy, our government damn well knows that we've gone through cycles of time and that there has been previous civilizations before it, and they're hiding it from us, and they're lying to you in textbooks, and they know they're lying about it because they don't want you to know about our past. And that gets crazy. But
that's like, dude, all right, let's just rip this Band-Aid off. Galactic Federation, where are you at on that? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a real thing you need to look into. It's got more meat than people realize. These kind of things. There are people in classified positions that are taking that shit very seriously. So anyways, it's a big deal.
Well, the Galactic Federation, for me, when I heard about it, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with the dude that worked at what was that guy who he talked about the element before it was actually on the periodic table. He's a UFO dude that worked at a certain site for Area 51. Very popular guy. Everybody thinks he's lying. The Hive.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the famous dude.
Yeah, Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lazar. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Because Bob Lazar got nuts in a couple interviews. If you go watch some of his interviews, I mean, he's been getting, quote, discredited his whole life, and then he's just 20 or 30 years early is really what it is.
Bob Lazar, people should have taken that guy serious.
Yes.
But, oh my gosh. So the phenomena of orbs, right? People see all these orbs over the ocean or whatever. Bob Lazar was talking about way back in the day about anti-gravitational stuff, where they would basically, the technology would put a gravitational well in front of a vehicle to propel it through space. And that was how its engine basically moved. It would create an anti-gravity well in front of it, and then you'd move towards that well, and it would make you be able to move very, very quickly. And that was years ahead of its time. Now we're getting to the point where we're like, man, that shit sounds like you could actually pull that off if you had the right technology. And he was talking about it way back in the day.
Hey, have you seen that video of the guy who's in, like, I don't know if he's in Chile or he's in Argentina. He's somewhere in kind of one of those areas. He got that meteorite
that sounds familiar.
Hit the ground, and then there's like this alien goo that's growing, and he's got it in a little like fire safe lockbox, and he's driving around. He's like keeping it in a freezer, and it's growing. And dude, have you seen this thing? It's crazy.
You're making me think of the swamp thing. You're making me think of like freaking
this guy's got an
Tales
alien
from the Crypt.
Panama. Dude,
Wow.
This is insane.
Only on your show, man. This is crazy shit.
Okay, I'm going to show this. This is going to blow your mind. This is terrifying. This guy's, I don't know if this guy is just extremely brave, but there's probably going to come a day really soon where like SEAL Team 6 is going to bust in and be like, give us the goddamn clump of alien goo right now. Right now. Like, that's what I see happening, because this is wild. Let me get that. There we go. Hey, so you haven't seen this yet. This is crazy.
Kin has just dropped another unsettling video, and this one feels darker than ever. He appears visibly stressed.
This is currently
sweating
ongoing.
Profusely. The look on Kin's face suggests he's not just playing games. The stress, the fear, it all feels real. And while skeptics still claim it's a hoax, nobody has proven anything yet. But in this new video, Kin shows a clear view of how massive this creature has become, and it's beginning to get out of control. At first, I thought he was pulling a hoax, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe Kin has discovered something that is beyond this world.
Look at that.
Inside, the creature has grown to an enormous size, thrashing and shifting and pulsing, almost as if it's trying to escape its container. For nearly 2 minutes, the footage lingers on this grotesque being moving within the icebox before Kin slams the lid shut and frantically weighs it down with 2 cinder blocks. Not to mention, Kin's latest caption has everyone rattled. On this post, he wrote, "What you always want, see it. Every day it smells worse. It smells like burnt, a totally strange thing, which grows and grows, without knowing that it is decomposition. For me, you will never see the sun." On the surface, it sounds like he's just describing decomposition. But if you look closer, it reads almost like a warning, or even a prophecy. He mentions the smell of something burnt, the way it grows and grows, and then the chilling phrase, "You will never see the sun." That line alone has lit the conspiracy forums on fire. Some are saying Kin knows this thing can never be exposed to daylight, that it must stay hidden, locked away. Others link it straight back to Revelation's wormwood, theorizing that its true mission is to break free and reach water.
This is what it looked like when he got it.
Revelation, a being whose mission is to reach water, to contaminate it, to poison the world.
What the fuck?
Others believe this is no alien at all.
I'm sorry. If I see that thing in my house, like, I'm shooting it. I'm literally shooting that thing. Like, that guy's psychotic. I mean, dude, so, God, I mean, and I just saw, there was somebody that had just said, 5 Green Acres had just said, AI video with AI narration, do not fall for this crap. And then you talked about Project Bluebeam, which I don't disagree with that. God, see, DA, you said there are probably, are you just some guy that thinks everything's a conspiracy? Well,
Right.
I've always said this, there's giant conspiracies that they've let the entire world see.
Yeah.
What haven't they let the world see?
Yeah.
What did they do before the world could see it with mass media? And I showed Tim Dillon's rant on my stream the other day, and he talked about how nobody's going to ever watch the nightly news again. Like the kids, they have it directly in their palm. It's coming from the source at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
there's a lot of fun shit out there and a lot of crazy stuff. I love talking about this stuff. Like I said, I as I'm working on my platform and what the Devil's Advocates stands for, it's hard for me to like, how does this fit into my show? But I certainly love these topics, and I could talk for days about various theories of world history and alternate history and aliens and all that shit. It is something that's a big part of me, but I don't know how, it fits into Devil's Advocates kind of thing, but it is super cool to have this opportunity to sit on your show and we kind of riff at these, especially at the end of the show. Like after we've kind of gotten back to serious stuff or the things we can kind of let loose at the end. And somebody that tunes in, by the way, for the first time is going to go, what the hell's this Devil's Advocates thing? Are they talking about freaking space aliens and somebody's ice cooler? Like,
right. I understand that. And thank you so much, Big Red, for the super chat. And these are some of my favorite streams. You bring up an interesting point just in general about, one of the things, and I totally understand what you're saying with the Devil's Advocates. That's why I appreciate when you come on the stream and we could do this. One of the things that I just really in general, I would apply to like my entire life is I've never been boxed in, even in my own life, to a certain thing.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed in a way of, if I like something, I don't care what people might think of it.
Right.
That's also a learned trait, because I've realized that when I like something, I spend time on it and I get better at it, and then I get good at it, and then I'm knowledgeable about it. And I've done that enough times with random shit that I'm really not ever afraid to lean into a topic. I'm also not afraid to say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. But that's one thing, dude, that I appreciate about you, because you're very knowledgeable about it. You're very good at talking about that stuff. And so if you're not going to talk about it on your channel, I will gladly have you into the Hive.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to bump up to 2 nights a week,
I mean, I thought to myself, like, should I, when I go conspiracy theory with you, should I just be a guest on your show rather than live streaming it to my audience? Because again, I think to myself, what people are going to think when they tune in. But I think people who watch us enough, they get to know that that's just something we do together. It's part of our personality. It's part of what we are. And I think it's great. And again, like I said, we've got a great symbiosis here, because again, you'll sometimes go a little further than I'm ready to go. And I'll be like, Birdie, come back down here. And you'll be like, DA, come on, you have to admit this is happening. I'm like, okay, I'll come up there. So it's a great mixture between the two of us.
You're not fooling me, DA. I know you now, bro. I know you, and I know that you're able to go pretty far out there.
I am. Thank
LA
you for
Mike.
the gift, by the way.
Wow.
LA Mike, I think, dropped that on my side. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Says, thanks for keeping this rolling so we have a place to get weird. Hell yeah, let's get weird. I mean,
Hey,
guys,
what do we have?
it's also like this, man. See, I don't want to go on a tangent about things that I've learned since I've started streaming, but I've learned a lot. And I feel like it's nice for maybe I'm not. And if you guys think this is stupid, I won't ever say it again. So just tell me. But I think it's important for, if I was watching me and I was tuning in, like when I tune into another creator, I think it's important to understand that, like, do I obviously see what people are interested in, what they want to talk about, and am I interested in it? Yes, absolutely. Do I want to talk about something where you guys hate it and you don't want to listen? Absolutely not. But what I think is very important is that this also, in my head, like, this is what it is. I put in a lot of effort to make the stream good with slides, and I research and I read a shit ton, and I, all that stuff. But once I'm actually on the camera, I'm genuinely just like, I feel like I did the work, and now I can just be myself. And I think that's a really important aspect to let everybody know, that it's like, I like to do the work on the back end so that in here, what LA Mike just said, we can get weird. We can talk about whatever we want, because that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. And here somebody said, and it's something to entertain. Let's not make a commitment right now, but somebody said, maybe we should have a night where you and I do nothing but conspiracy theory stuff, like move away from the true crime stuff. And it's a night where you and I just riff on all the crazy conspiracy theories. I need another obligation, like a hole in my head. I am so fucking busy. I'm like the one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. I'm worn out, but it's not a bad idea.
No,
Especially if it could be just, everybody knows right off the bat on that night, we're going to go off the rails and shit. And that's going to, be our thing. But
type of one, if you guys would be into that, because I'm cool with even switching Monday nights to that, bro. Like, you're covering so many cases that I would hate to kind of, just kind of deflect you to the one or two that I'm looking at. Whereas now I feel like I'm kind of transitioning into like current events, narrative. That's again why I started it. The Idaho 4 case was the narrative case that, quote, got me into, true crime or whatever. But it's really just, it's the bigger things about that case. So I think we should do it. And I think that'd be fun. Like, we should maybe have like what if we did one on like the Galactic Federation? Like, where did these star systems name come from? What did Balthazar talk about? Like, what is the purpose of a soul and what is the purpose of your body? And you want to talk deep. Like, why do we have religion and the 10 Commandments? Is it to make the purest soul because there's some other entity that harnesses energy from our soul, and your soul is essentially gasoline for them? And then if you have pure gasoline for them by following these 10 Commandments that was implemented for the human race to follow as religion, you're going to have a pure soul. They're going to get more energy. You're going to be more valuable. And then when you die, that's why your soul goes somewhere else.
Right.
That's
deep,
but
it is deep. It is deep. And it's gonna, it's gonna rankle some feathers. There's no way we can talk about any of these topics without rankling some feathers. But yeah, let's banter that back and forth, you and I. I think it's a great thing. I mean, I would hate to not have a space with you and I to talk about true crime things like the Charlie Kirk, like the Idaho 4, because I think unless you're completely moving away from that, I think there's a space for that. And I would love to be able to talk to you about those things, but there also needs to be a space for this kind of conversation as well.
Here's my opinion on it. You and I should treat Monday nights like you and I are hanging out, just buddies. Wherever the hell it goes, it goes. And to me, I know that we're going to be able to dial in on a certain topic throughout that conversation. And so I don't do good when I went deep on the Idaho 4, but typically in my normal life, I have scatterbrain, bro. I have ADD, like literally like squirrel, like this. And then it's like, next thing you know, I look up and I've been, typing something up for 2 hours. I've been working. I'm like, fuck, I've been doing this for 2 hours. I haven't eaten. I haven't taken a piss. When's the last time I even took a breath? What am I even like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you. Yeah.
That's actually,
yeah, I'm with you.
Dude, not that anybody needs to know this, but funny story. Like in college, I was a pretty big stoner and I turned like 25 and I had to stop like smoking or whatever. And I feel like there's a lot of people that talk about this. I experienced like one of those, quote, like weed smoking like ending anxiety, like thinking you're going to die. Like, dude, I ate this damn cookie. Okay. I ate this cookie on Halloween. I thought my tongue was swelling up. Okay. So we're at this house party. I'll tell this. Have I told you this before?
No, I don't think so. No.
So UW-Madison, sophomore year in college for Halloween. I'll never forget this. This is one of it's like the funniest night, but also one of like the scariest nights of my life. Because when I tell you I thought I was going to die. One of my buddies like made these chocolate chip like weed cookies or whatever. I didn't know. Like, I knew you could make edibles. I didn't know you could put like dab wax, like the concentrated wax. Like, that's what he made them with. Okay, I was just like your casual weed smoker. You know what I mean? So I had like a half of a cookie. I made the mistake of saying, I don't feel shit. Okay. I eat the entire cookie. That was like, I don't know, maybe whatever, 6. It was like pregame. Then about 10:30, I am stoned, like scary stoned. Like, dude, I probably looked like a maniac walking through this place. And I'm leaning against this wall. And I was just moving in with some new buddies at my college that I was going to. So I didn't go to UW-Madison, but I was visiting some buddies. So my new roommates that I was going to be moving in with, that was like our first like party together. Long story short, I'm leaning against this wall and my new roommate is dancing with this girl. I'm panicking. He's like the only person that I could see that I know. I'm now like probably only about 20 feet away, just on one side of the wall. I'm staring at him, right? Like, just like, I can see the girl that he's dancing with. I vividly remember this. I can see this girl that he's dancing with turn back and I can read her lips. And she goes, why the fuck is that guy staring at us? And points at me. So now I'm like, oh my God, this is going so bad. So I start calling him over, literally doing this like by myself. So he's like, okay. So he walks over and I vividly remember, this is embarrassing, but I'll say it. I'll be like, I think my tongue's falling up. And he goes, what? And I go, I think my tongue's falling up. And he's like, hold on. He pulls his phone out. So now I'm sticking my mouth out like I'm at a doctor's office. And he's like looking in my mouth with his phone. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, it's not. And then I snapped out. I was like, oh, okay. And I found a 2-liter of Diet Coke on the counter. I just took it and I went and I sat outside on the step on the second floor. The first thing that I see is this rather large person in a banana suit walking. Okay.
And your mind is not ready for that shit.
Right. And I didn't know, but my buddy had followed me out and he apparently knew this person. He goes, damn, that's a big ass bitch. And like, dude, I just lost my mind. I was like, I went to sleep. It was terrible. It's the last time I've ever done it.
That's hilarious. Well, yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, I've never had that impact for the marijuana plant. Like, it doesn't do shit for me. So I have not had that kind of experience, but I've had others, but not that kind of experience. So
yeah, it was
I don't
hell.
even know what that's horrible.
It's weird because, dude, like I've never had that. It was like that one time, and then after that, every time I did it, I was just worried this is gonna happen again. Yeah, it's just thinking like, I'm cooked every time. So, anyways, I do think Monday nights, bro. Let's just let it flow. Let's have I don't know, Galactic Federation, something like that.
I might have to rebrand that a little bit so people know when they tune in, this is not a typical DA kind of thing. But yeah, I think it could something we should seriously consider.
Do you think that there's people that tune in that don't know you have this side to you?
I don't know. I mean, 90% of what I do is not this. I don't go down the, so you're the only place I do most of this with. So maybe they don't know, but I don't know. I mean, to be fair with you, a lot of my audience came from you, so they already know me. But
I mean, dude, I also think just getting to know you, man. This is you. Like
yeah.
You love to go on a good rant. You love to talk about whatever.
Right.
And you're funny and you're good and you're smart and like when you're flowing, like it's unmatched. So I think that like if you're gonna do it, you should do it on or in the Hive. And to anybody that says like, oh, whatever, well then they know Monday nights just whatever,
a crazy night.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and people are trying to tell me lighten up, DA. People will get it. They're like, yeah. I, unlike you, have not gotten 100% to the stage where I don't care what people think about me. I've always been too much of a person who cares what people think about me. I'm learning to grow. I've grown a lot since I did YouTube. I've grown a lot. I used to be very, very self-conscious of everything. I can't believe today that I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's only been a matter of months. So I'm growing pretty quick on that. But yeah, it's new for me.
Well, dude, I gotta say, just even hearing you say that, not a lot of people even have the ability to be proud of themselves and say it out loud. And I'm not saying that to be corny. Like that's a really good sign. That's progress. That's growth. Because if you're able to say that out loud, clearly you're already saying it internally. So that's good. And I've seen you grow too with it. And dude, I think somebody just said like be unapologetically yourself. I have troll talk and being the analogy of the PCP ninja that we showed earlier in the stream getting attacked by all the trolls. Yeah. TikTok hardened me, bro. TikTok hardened me. I would be baited into like having people on as guests just to like tell them like, you fucking grifter. Like, it was just like terrible, dude. It got to a certain point. Like there was nights, dude, I would get done streaming and I'm just like sitting there with my wife. I'm like, what am I doing, babe? Like, why do people hate me? Like,
That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go forever on this, but yeah, that's so funny because TikTok has made me a stronger person because the trolls used to get under my nerve. I used to address every single one of them. And people kept telling me, DA, why do you keep addressing the trolls? They're fucking trolls. Let it go. And I'm like, but they're thinking the wrong thing about me. And like, who gives a shit? They're going to think what they want to think. And I finally was like, you know what? I laugh now half the time. I'm like, whatever, go watch another channel. Like, why are you on my channel busting my nuts? Just go to another channel. Like, why are you still here?
It's so interesting. It's so interesting because, and I don't want to get on this whole thing because I will say like, I'm saying this humbly. Like, I don't know if it's because we obviously in the Hive, like most people, if you're here, it's because you're wired similar to how I am. I don't really see that many comments. And if there are, it's clearly they don't know what this is. Like the only reason that you would hate on this is because you don't know what the Hive is. The intention is to literally talk about shit that you can't maybe say in front of your friends or your family because they do judge you, right? That
Right.
is what the Hive is for.
Right, where you don't get judged by what you say. You can have an open discussion, and you can be free to be wrong. Like you said, be free to be wrong. If I'm wrong about something, screw it. Like we get too locked into having to be right all the time. We should be able to have an open dialogue and say, hey, I think it's this. And if you're wrong, so what? You are wrong, but you tell us what you think.
Yeah. And dude, like my goal is this. I want to enjoy my life. I want to have fun. And if it's not hell yes, like this is something that one of my coworkers told me, and it stuck with me. It was like 5 years ago. His New Year's resolution was this: if it's not hell yes, it's no. And he explained it. He goes, if I'm about to do something, or if I get asked to do something and it's not hell yes, then I'm saying no. And I've applied that. And dude, it is remarkable how much more you start to enjoy your life, where if you do not think to yourself, hell yeah, I want to go to that football game, or hell yeah, I want to go work out right now, and you just say, nah, it's crazy. And you just start.
That is interesting. It's an interesting philosophy to think about, living your life that way. It's very interesting.
Right. And so anyways, DA, this was fun. Thank you for kind of popping on short notice. Hive, thank you all again. I'm happy to be a free man. I was wrongfully convicted of a 36-hour sentence in YouTube jail. I believe the real perpetrator is still there, out on the loose. We are going to be diving into who it is. And I have a good friend at Othram Labs who might be able to track down some trace DNA
in real time. Yeah. And by the way, thank you so much. It's an honor that you reached out to me to be part of your parole party. I amazing. Like, you could have done that to anybody. Thank you so much for reaching out to me for your parole party. I love having you loose on the street again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I hope everybody has a safe Saturday night. Again, I'm not trying to be corny when I say, like, don't drink and drive. It's just, there's something in me that just, I don't know. There was a traumatic thing with one of my high school buddies that I always say that, and whatever. So even if you hear it now, whether you listen to Birdie or not, you got an app on your phone, and, don't drink and drive. So anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially on the weekends. But DA, get some good sleep. And I will be back in the Hive tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central. I do have a quick and exciting announcement. George Webb and he emailed me back. We're going live Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. So I'll get that scheduled. Dude, yeah, I hope like that. I should connect you with George. I should connect you with George. I think you guys would get along good.
I would like that. I mean, yeah. So if you ever get an opportunity and he wants to do it, I would love to do that. So
yeah, because dude, like, I like how he has a pretty good layout of like the geopolitical climate with like Ukraine funding and the Iran war. Those are things that I need to brush up on. Yeah. I think if I want to really understand this Charlie Kirk thing, I need to start to learn this geopolitical landscape outside of just Orange Man bad, Orange Man good, in America, right? It's way more complex than Donald Trump.
Way more complex. Yeah. Yeah.
And we just got a super sticker. Thank you so much, Rose Cookie. Appreciate you guys. And all right, this is the longest end of the stream goodbye ever, but this is it. Cheers. DA, thank you so much. Peace.
Out.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for